Hello Aquarius, Elsie here to do a bonus read for you friends. So you haven't had your weeklies yet. You will have your weeklies coming up tomorrow, but I just want to get out a bonus read for you and say thank you for the ways you've been loving on the channel. And let's do that. Let's find out what is going on. So Aquarius, you're going to have a bonus reading today and a weekly reading tomorrow. Let's find out what's going on for Aquarius. Bonus energy. Aquarius, I'm reading for, when I read bonus reads, it's always for the current or future energy, and it could happen anytime between here and there. Today, tomorrow, next year. Let's find out what's going on for Aquarius in this bonus energy. I'm trying to get as many readings as I can around the full moon because, man, there's lots of things that are changing. And Aquarius, there's a whole damn party going on in your sign, right? Have you seen an astrologer? There's all kinds of changes. This is such a hard time, Aquarius, for changes. And you're a fixed sign. You don't like changes. Just like me, I'm a fixed sign. I don't like changes. And when you go through it, all of us go through it because you are the collective right now. And especially the fixed signs, right? Because you are a fixed sign. Let's find out what's going on for Aquarius in this bonus read. Tell me about Aquarius. Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and Jupiter. Tell me about Aquarius. We've got the Ace of Wands now. Something tells me Mars might be in your sign, but go check with an astrologer. I think that's what's going on here. This is Aries energy. We've got the Queen of Pentacles. It feels like there is something new and exciting, creative, that you might want to put your time, effort, or energy into. Something that is coming up that seems like it's a good idea. You see the value. This could be a person. This could be Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. This could be a person you see value in, but it feels like you want to put your energy into something. The Empress is here. It does feel like it is going to end up escalating quickly to abundance. The Empress can be abundance. The Empress can be balance, solid, grounded, harmony, a sure thing, right? The Empress is somebody who's solid, who's got a lot of wisdom. This could be someone who is older than you, right? The Empress has a lot more wisdom than the Queen alone. I feel like there is someone or something exciting that you want to put your time, effort, and energy into. There is something here, whether this is a person, a place, a situation, a job, something here is attracting you. It seems very attractive, and it's made you whip out your pentacle and say, do you want my offer? It feels like this is something that you're passionate about or excited about, or this seems like it's something that is very new. Look at that. I've got the Emperor on the bottom of the deck. My Emperor's in the future. Find out what's going on here. Tell me more about Aquarius, please. Oh, Two of Cups. Oh, Nine of Swords. So there's a little bit of worry. So there's some apprehension here, Aquarius, is what it looks like. An apprehension to get close enough to somebody because this person is going to want to connect to you emotionally. And you have the ability to do that, of course, successfully. But I feel like that might be what you're worried about. I feel that you're attracted to someone or someone is attracting you into their space, into their life. It looks like an attractive, it's a place where you want to give an offer. So you want to put your resume in for this job because it looks super abundant and you could be the one who ends up running the show because you have the information to do that. But what if it doesn't work? What if I put all my effort and energy in here and it doesn't work? Maybe it looks like an Empress from a distance, but when I get up close, what if it's not? So the Nine of Swords is here and I feel like there is a worry. Maybe this person, it feels like it's almost like, look, I've never met an Aquarius who is really, how can I say, intimidated by other people because you're pretty confident. And that is not a hard and fast rule for all Aquariuses because it depends where it comes up in your sign, right? Could be Sun or Moon or Rising or Venus or Jupiter. And so it feels like somebody feels like this could be what you want because this is the complete package. So the complete package you want to invest into, whether it's a job or abundance or a person. But this is the problem. It looks really exciting. And at the beginning, you're very excited about it. This is a very creative person. This is also the Queen of Wands, right? And I feel like the apprehension or the worry is that this person is going to want to dive deep. And you're not really sure if you're interested in diving deep, or how quickly they're going to want to do it. Now, if it is a worry about how quickly they're going to want to do it, I'm going to say with the Empress and the Queen of Pentacles here that we're talking about slow moving energy. Libra moves slow, Taurus moves slow, Virgo, Capricorn moves slow, Cancer moves slow. It feels like you don't have to worry about things going too quickly unless you want it to. The thing is I feel like you're very attracted to the Empress if this is a person. But I feel like their strength, the fact that they don't need you, the fact that they're also can be very detached and aloof is the part that worries you, that maybe you've met your match, Aquarius. Tell me more. We've got the Page of Cups in the reverse. I'm going to say that when the Ace of Wands shows up, all the intuition goes out the window. That's what it feels like. The Page of Cups in the reverse to me is I'm not really listening to my intuition. I'm unsure about how I feel. Can I measure up to the Queen of Cups, right? Because the Empress is the Queen of Cups, the Queen of Wands, the Queen of Pentacles, and the Queen of Swords. Can I measure up intuitively, psychically, because of the total package? Can I measure up? We've got the King of Cups here. So I feel like the emotional connection will be on point, that the emotions here will be on point if you can get out of your King of Cups energy. Because I feel like although you have a lot of deep, deep emotions here, whether you're the masculine or the feminine, that I feel like you have a hard time bringing those feelings to the surface. And sometimes it can show you as being aloof or detached. And so because this person is the Queen of Cups who is very emotional and is compassionate and kind and wants to connect emotionally, I feel like this Page of Cups is wondering, is this really the good deal that I think it is from a distance? Let's talk about the Queen of Pentacles. So tell me why you want to, because although you're excited about this, Aquarius, I feel like there is an opportunity to invest in somebody here. And the thing is that the Empress doesn't care about a financial investment. Time, effort, energy, money, whatever. It's just an investment for the Empress. The Empress is sovereign. The Empress doesn't need your investment financially, doesn't need your attention. But if you want to give it, look, the Empress has been calling you in. So I feel like if you want to give it, it will be accepted. The offer will be accepted. We've got the Four of Cups. It's this energy of, could I be rejected? Look, I'm coming as the Queen of Pentacles. Whether you're feminine or masculine, the Queen is on the throne. I'm coming as the Queen of Pentacles. I'm going to make some sort of a practical offer to you. But are you going to reject me? Or should I just stay in my comfort zone? Because I'm really not in this energy of being rejected. I don't really need to deal with that right now. The Three of Wands. So I feel like, Aquarius, that you're worried that you're going to be rejected in the future. That you've been waiting a long time for someone like the Empress. And what I mean by that is someone who doesn't need you in the room all the time. Someone who you can continue to chase. And I don't mean that in a disparaging way. What I mean is that the Empress is just going to go about their business, do their thing, take care of the business they need to take care of. But the Empress is somebody who's going to wait for you to catch up. Because the Empress is not going to chase you. So really, it does end up being you who ends up chasing in the future. And I don't mean chasing. Do you understand? The Empress will let you catch her. Right? Or him, if they feel that you have enough to offer. We've got the Two of Wands. So I feel like with the Five of Wands here that there is an indecision about you. Because I feel you've suffered rejection before, emotional rejection, I think that's why you were approaching the Empress in the Queen of Pentacles energy. Not so harsh or masculine. If you're like, listen, we all have masculine and feminine energies. They have to balance each other out. If it was 100% masculine, it would be toxic. If it was 100% feminine, it would be toxic. And that's why we all, plants, animals, people, we all have both, right? So I feel like you are approaching the Empress in a bit of a softer way because Pentacles are energy that is feminine. And so I feel like you are aware that you must approach this Empress in a very balanced way, a very practical and balanced way in order to not be rejected. I feel like you do see a future with the Empress in it, but I do feel like you're at the Two of Wands, which is still in the planning stage. What do I have to offer? What can I give as the offer? Is the offer attractive enough? The Empress is attracting me, pulling me in, but when I get there, am I going to give enough of an offer? I feel like right now the Page of Cups is in the reverse because you don't want to be surprised. I don't want to be surprised, heartbroken. I don't want to worry about this anymore. But I also don't want this person to dive deep with me immediately. Let's see what the Empress is thinking here, Aquarius. What is the Empress thinking? Oh, very interesting. Queen of Swords. The Empress knows that the Emperor is approaching, and so the Queen of Swords shows up and is being very honest, very practical, someone who's in balance, someone who's quite harmonious, but also someone who's going to be very truthful and honest. So the Queen of Swords just wants honesty. And the Emperor is, I feel like, is your energy being attracted in by the Empress. I feel like we're attracted because of our intelligence. Now, of course, these two people are going to be attracted to each other physically as well, because one is the Queen of Wands and the other is the King of Wands. But the Queen of Swords is how we attract each other. We attract each other through speaking to each other, through our intelligence. We both have our boundaries. It does feel like it is a mutual conversation, is how you're being attracted to this person. And I think that by the conversation that you have with this person, that it makes you hopeful that things are going to work out. Well, interesting that the star shows up, right? I think that you have been manifesting and hopeful to meet an Empress. Look, you could be the masculine or the feminine energy. Take your side. I don't really care. But the star is the hopeful energy, but it also is this, we have this connection of the brain that really is the connection that makes me physically attracted to you. So I feel like, Aquarius, that you are attracted to the Queen of Swords because the Queen of Swords is mirroring your energy. You're the King of Swords, right? The King of Swords and the Queen of Swords are mirroring energy. Now, this is not at the beginning a very emotional or romantic connection. This is a connection of the minds, because the Emperor or the Emperor is not going to date here, there, and everywhere. The Emperor is going to decide. So I feel like through conversation that the Emperor is trying to decide whether I want to give the offer to the Empress. The Empress has been calling in the Emperor. We've got the Two of Pentacles. So here's the decision, right? The Two of Pentacles is, I haven't yet decided whether this is the one for me, but we have to sit down and have a really honest conversation. And I don't mean the love conversation, because the Queen of Swords and the King of Swords aren't really talking about love things. They're keeping the emotions out of it. I want to know that when the looks fade, and they will, when the looks fade, do we have anything to say to each other? So I feel like there is a special connection. The star is here. I feel like the Empress has definitely called in the Emperor, and the Emperor has answered. And I feel now the Emperor is making a decision, or is left to make a decision about what I want from here. So I do feel that depending on who you are and how this is working out for you, whether you're the feminine or the masculine, that this is a connection that could very easily fall into the Two of Cups, which is deepening of a connection, showing each other our feelings, but somebody here is unsure if they're ready for that, because the Page is the lowest level of connection, right? The Page is in the reverse. So I'm not really sure that I can give the Empress emotionally everything that the Empress requires from me, because the Queen of Cups is a lot, right? That's a lot of love, a lot of emotion. We have the Devil, the Hierophant, and the Nine of Pentacles. So I'm going to say that right now, marriage is off the table. Commitment is off the table. Somebody here is approaching because I want to get to know the Empress in a practical way, I would say. I want to, it's like the vibe check, right? It feels like this Hierophant energy, somebody here has been tied to a toxic or obsessive, maybe codependent relationship in the past, and committed relationship, and I'm not interested in that. So it feels like the Emperor here realizes that this is, if I decide to cross the line, and take this person out and get to know them more, that it is going to deepen our emotional connection. And is this going to be an attachment for me? Is this person codependent? Now, the Emperor doesn't know they're being called in by an Empress until they get to know that person, and that's why the Queen of Swords is here. So the Nine of Pentacles being here is really good, because I feel like this Emperor is doing the vibe check on, are you independent? Do you need me? Look, the Emperor is a busy person. They either own a business, run a business, somebody who has a lot of businesses. This is somebody who's very busy running an empire, right? And they are looking for someone who matches them, who doesn't need them because they're busy a lot of the time. So they're checking on independence. They're checking on confidence and independence. Is this somebody who is going to need me to be in a commitment immediately with them? Or is this someone who has independence and sovereignty, someone who is confident to be alone, build something by themselves, and then we can see each other once in a while? This is going to go very, very slow. This is not the quick thing. So let's talk about this Page of Cups here, because I feel like the worry is that can I keep up emotionally? I think you can keep up intellectually. I think there's a lot of physical attraction. But the question is this: do I have enough emotions? Can I keep up emotionally with the Empress? Tell me about the Page of Cups in the reverse. We've got the Ace of Swords. That's something we're going to have to talk about. We've got the Magician. We're going to have to create the environment to be able to talk about these things, but we can't do that until we get to know each other honestly, truthfully, and transparently, like the Queen of Swords. Also, the only way that the Emperor is going to know if the Empress is an Empress is if this Empress has boundaries. The Empress is not the person who's going in for passion. The Empress is not the one who's jumping in for passion. The Empress is the one who puts up the boundaries and allows you to, this Queen of Swords has got her sword up because that's the boundary. We can have a conversation and I've got a boundary. So don't cross the boundary and we'll be good. And so that's how the Emperor knows when they've met an Empress. The Empress is not jumping in on passion. We've got the Ace of Cups. And so I feel like we have to have a conversation. We have to create the right environment to have a conversation about the Ace of Cups. This is not a sure thing. We're still dealing in swords, right? We've got the Nine of Swords and the Ace of Swords. That's 10, which tells me that this Emperor has been gutted. So this person could be divorced. They could be someone who, because of the Page, we could be someone who is estranged from the family, someone who has children. You know what I mean? It feels like something went topsy-turvy at some point. And there was a lot of, this person's been gutted, I'm going to say, by another person in a relationship. And so it didn't work out for them. And so I feel like this person's being very careful. We need to talk about whether or not we can manifest the Eight of Cups by talking about it, by really weighing and measuring everything, because I think that the passion is on point. I think there's an incredible attraction here. But these two people know that if this is the last person, I'm not jumping in on the passion. I'm not jumping in on the passion. First things first, right? We have 6 wands. This person wants to give you a lot of attention. If you are the Empress, I feel like this person will continue to come back. Tell me what the outcome is here between these two. What happens? Oh, a Tower shows up. We've got the Hermit energy and we've got the Fool. So yes, I do believe that we decide that we are going to spend more time together. But I feel like the time that we spend together is going to be Hermit energy. It feels like the Emperor or the Empress is going to go off grid. I'm going to be silent with you. You're going to be silent with me. There's going to be times that we're not talking to each other because I need to meditate. I need to feel around in the dark. I need to make sure my light is in the right place. I feel like the Tower tells me everything shifts into silence for a bit. Once we first meet each other, everything shifts into silence for a bit. And there's silence before the jump is what it feels like here. Because somebody is trying to make a decision as to whether they are serious enough about this to move forward. Because as I said, the Emperor is going to decide, is not going to just take you out for dates wondering when the passion is going to show up. That's not what the Emperor does. Not in the upright anyway. We've got the Knight of Wands, we've got the Three of Swords in the reverse, and we've got the Seven of Wands. Somebody is protecting their heart because they've been heartbroken before. This could be the Emperor or the Empress. The King of Wands is here. Somebody is very, very aware that there is a lot of passionate looks, that we are very attracted to each other. Nobody's saying anything. It's under the surface. I'm not saying anything because my heart is still in repair. I'm still guarding my heart. I'm guarding myself from being hurt because the last time I jumped in too quick, Knight of Wands, and everything destabilized. So I feel like somebody here is holding back until which point that they decide it's the turning point. Somebody here is holding back until they decide that they're going to go forward in fire. It's the time of perspective is what it is. Somebody here is trying to decide, is this going to hurt me? Is this going to gut me again? Or is this person really the Queen of Pentacles? Is she really who she says she is? Is she really the Queen of Wands? Independent, doesn't really need me? Is she really kind and compassionate and loving and a good parent? So I feel like this is the phase where we decide what we're going to do, but this is going slow. I'm just going to say it does end up with some sort of taking a leap of faith together after we can get this Two of Swords things worked out. Somebody's cutting out something to be in your presence, and it's a turning point. They're holding back right now, holding back their passion. They know that the Knight of Wands is, right? They're very attracted. They know that there's a lot of passion here, but somebody's protecting their heart. I'm going to leave this right here. Thank you so much for coming here and watching. I appreciate you, Aquarius. I will be back with your weekly. Take care. You guys are awesome. Oh, by the way, don't forget that there's private reads available. If this is your situation and you want to talk about this, private reads are available. Please look at the pinned comment, and I'll go for now. Take care. Bye-bye.